All right, I'm back. Man, I have no idea what happened there, but we are back, and I'm going to have to reshare this. All right, I'm back. Man. Yeah, that was interesting. I have no idea what happened there. The entire computer just crashed. The entire system crashed. So obviously we did our job. We pissed somebody off. That's all I can say. So I just came back because I want to finish this up. I just want to share this real quick. Make sure you're sharing and retweeting this show. And maybe one day we'll get a real studio. And we'll get a real show. Let's see here. Make sure you share it again. That's what I'm doing. I'm resharing it on all the places where it was before. And stand by. There you go. I'm sorry about all the confusion today here, folks. It happens from time to time. That's what happens when you're doing stuff on social media, right? All right. Let me go back over here and get the... Man, that was the craziest thing. My whole computer went blank, and then it booted itself up into none of the stuff was down here, and it looked like I just bought the computer. I shut it off, turned it back on. Everything came back up, but it was I had to restart all the shows again, so that's why it takes a while. Make sure, see, YouTube's running, Twitter's running, Facebook's running. We're good to go. All right. Where was I about Mitch McConnell here? Let me pull this up real quick. And basically what happened today was Mitch McConnell met with President Trump, and he basically said his job is to get people reelected. Now, Mitch McConnell, your job is supposedly to manage this country. Now, I don't understand what these people think when they go to Washington, D.C., but all the stuff I was talking about in the first half of this show, the biggest problem that we have in this country, next to these subversive people, is the fact that politicians just are not there for the right reasons. They're there to support their parties. They're there to get people reelected. Listen, if it was the case that the Republican Party saw this subversion that was going on in the Democratic Party and they said, we must get people elected. We must get them elected so that we save the Republic. Okay, I would understand that that is part of Mitch McConnell's job. But Mitch McConnell is not doing it that way. He's doing it because this would be Mitch McConnell saying, we have to save the Republican Party because the Republican Party is where we get paid. It's who pays our bills. It's who pads our pockets. It's how we do our nefarious business. We must save the Republican Party. That's what Mitch McConnell is saying. And listen, folks, whether it's John McCain, Mitch McConnell, whether it's Nancy Pelosi or Paul Ryan or Bernie Sanders or any of these people, get them out of office. They do not stand for your best interest. I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. It's a lie. It is a lie. You have to realize this, folks. Man, I just wish I could pour knowledge into your brain on the reality of how government actually works. You think you know because you watch television. That is not, you're dealing with subversive groups there too. Listen, study. You've got to study the reality of who these people are. I can't just come on here every night and tell you. I can. You want to keep donating to the GoFundMe page, which is scrolling across right there. We'll keep this show going. We'll just be every day talking about subversion, just like every day I would talk about the reality of defending yourself from bad guys. If I knew everybody would listen, I would do that. That's all I would talk about. But people they just want to cast aside stuff. I love it when people on Twitter say, who are you to know this? Who are, you've never, one person said on here, I bet you've never had a conversation with Colin Kaepernick. Well, you are correct. I have never sat down and had a conversation with Colin Kaepernick. You got me there. But based on the fact that he wears Che Guevara shirts, Fidel Castro shirts, that he wears socks with cops as pigs, he's already so far down the communist road and the communist playbook, I don't have to interview this guy. There was a guy that got killed a while back. I forgot his real name, but he's called the Crocodile Hunter, right? He wrestles with crocodiles. He wore the outfit that bushmen wear and people that work at zoos wear. And so it didn't take long for me to figure out that Irwin, what was his name? I forget his name. That he knows about animals, that he works around animals, right? If I see a guy at a race car track and he's wearing a jumpsuit and he's got patches all over it and a number on there, and he's hanging out with other guys who have same suits with patches all over them, I can assume he's a part of one of the race teams. Okay, so he's in racing. He identifies with these racers and whatever tactics that they're going to use in their team, right? I can look at that and say, okay, my analysis shows that based on my training and experience of figuring this out, that guy is with NASCAR. Same thing if I go to NASCAR and I see another guy wearing an all-white jumpsuit with a big radio headset and it says official on the back. I can clearly see that this guy is an official for NASCAR. It doesn't take a brain. It doesn't take that big of a leap of faith to determine who these people are. When Colin Kaepernick shows up wearing Che Guevara shirts, wearing Fidel Castro shirts, doing the fist of power, which is a communist sign, taking a knee during our national anthem, which is a subversive movement to disrupt the one time every week when 90,000 people or more will get together and unify for the right reasons, and they want to disrupt that. And when he wears socks that have pigs as cops, which is another way of breaking down the usefulness of law enforcement and the destruction of the community. When he hangs with people like Linda Sarsour, who is a jihadist, and fundamental Muslims that are jihadists work closely with the communist parties. It's called the Red Green Alliance. Another thing you can look up. I'm not saying anything that is conspiratorial. I'm not saying anything that you can't read and figure out for yourself. I'm not saying anything that is not right in front of you on a daily basis. It's all there. And when I look at people like Mitch McConnell, who says his job is to go out and get reelected, I'm looking at a person that should not be in that office because they are absolutely the biggest reason that these people can actually subvert this country. I think President Trump is probably one of the biggest distractions that has been in modern history to the subversion of this country. And it's been going on for a long, long time, since early 1900s. It took on a lot of steam in the 60s, and now it's taken on monstrous speed. So, what else we got? I didn't even see, there's not even any... What is up with this freaking computer? I don't see anybody commenting on anything on Twitter. I don't see any hearts. I don't see nothing. Let's go back over here. All right, one other thing. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. FBI documents, this just came out a little while ago, proved that Comey drafted the Clinton email months before announcement clearing her. I'm not sure how anybody can be surprised by that at all. Is anybody else? Let me turn this down. See if anybody's talking on here. I keep blacking out. Can't watch. Well, come back. The show will always be here. All right. Listen, because of the technical difficulties and because I think I got my point through, I want everybody to know that I am not bashing Nate Boyer, that I am bashing Colin Kaepernick and the rest of the communists. I want everybody to know that good intentions, although I want people to have good intentions. You can really judge a person by their moral character and their work ethics and how they treat other people, and good intentions are right along with that. But you've heard the saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Good intentions without fully studying the reality of who the people are you're trying to work with is the easiest way to get yourself smacked right across the face by these types of nefarious individuals. And so I'll stand next to Nate anytime to defend this country against those people. I'll stand next to the president. I'll stand next to anybody in the inner city. I'll go into any inner city with a group of people that live there if they want to clean it up. I'll take this show. We'll do it from the inner city. I don't care. Look, if I die trying to clean up this country, then may my legacy forever live so that you all can rub it in the faces of Black Lives Matter who hasn't done a thing for the inner city. I don't see color. I don't see gender or sexuality. I see people that are either in love with this country or not. I see people that are either willing to stand with a president that at least is trying to push things forward. And today he said it great. He said that Congress is not doing their job. How many presidents have said that in that effective manner? Not many. If you don't want to stand with the president because you think he's a moron, or because you just don't like him, or because he said, if you're rich, you can grab a woman in a certain private part, and that forever tainted your view. I can't do anything to change that. I can't. But I would suggest that you start looking at the reality of what's happening in this country, the subversive groups, the reality of the lack of tactics by law enforcement, the lack of awareness by the people. When you start to look at your good intentions, and you have to ask yourself, okay, I'm going to pick up this hitchhiker because I've been down on my luck before, and I want to help somebody out, and your intentions are good, but you don't fully study this person. You don't know anything about them. And when you roll up there, the next thing you know, you're stabbed laying on the side of the road, and they're speeding away in your car, and you may die. All these things, what does it all lead up to? It leads up to lack of ownership of your citizenship, lack of ownership of your own awareness, of your own self-survival. In this modern day and age, it is easier, much easier than it was 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago or even 50 years ago to fully encapsulate yourself in a protective bubble of awareness. It's so easy. Good intentions will get you killed. Deep study of your enemy and of other people's intentions so you can increase your awareness, that will help you live. So here's what I'd like to do. So I put this thing up on Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, go over to Twitter. This is the CQRF homework for the night. I put up a tweet there to Nate, and let me pull this. I'll pull it up. I'll show you exactly which one it was. Right before the show started. So it's this one. It's this tweet. So you see that tweet right there. Go retweet that and put some comments in there. We're not trying to come down on Nate. But the reality is you do your homework. You watch this show. You research what I say. You don't just take it for granted. And you know that Colin Kaepernick is a communist, that BLM was started by 3 lesbian Marxists, and I only point out their sexuality because they are also a part of the gay movement, and the only reason I point that out is because it's a subversive movement, not because it has anything to do with equality or with making sure that people who have, well, you know what it does? It actually gives more of an excuse to point out something that nobody really wants to know. I mean, nobody wants to know who you're sleeping with. That's kind of I don't know. I don't even know how. Look, there was a day and age where if a guy was effeminate or if they came out of the closet and they let people know that for whatever reason why they feel the need to let everybody know, I don't know, where they would be judged and not hired in a certain place, and that may still happen. But the reality is you can be the best. You can tell everybody you're gay if that's what you want to do, and you can still strive to be the best that you can be. But those people, and I digress there because I want people to understand why I say the gay movement or feminism or all these other things. I want you to understand that those are subversive movements. They do nothing to bridge the gap where people stand together. They only divide people. So that tweet that you just saw, I want you to retweet that. I want you to put in there, we studied what communism is. We know who Colin Kaepernick is. He's a communist. The people who started BLM are Marxists, and we stand against them. And anybody else that kneels to support them, we stand against them. That's all. Put something like that in there. And retweet that thing. Get it going. Also, retweet this show. Share the show on Facebook. Like the page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. YouTube, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with YouTube as always. And follow my page on YouTube as well. We'll try to get it up. Listen, we're spreading this across all social media to try to grow this thing, and hopefully it will grow. And as well, don't forget, the show is funded by you. GoFund.me/The Experts Roadshow. You'll see it scroll across the screen in just a second. It's we've really, for the month of September and October, it's dried up. Nobody's really putting any money into it. So we need to get the funds rolling back in. If you're going to contribute once a month, that's fine. And remember, this show is one of the greatest tools that we have to go against these subversives. So the more we work together, the more we practice the CQRF, the Constitutional Quick Reaction Force, the more effort you put into this, the bigger it's going to get. There's just you can't stop it once it starts growing, except if you quit. So let's stand together and get this going. And if you haven't pre-ordered the book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, which you see right here, you can order that on Amazon, or you can go to the GoFundMe page, donate $50, and we're going to get you a signed copy of that book. Man, that's Jim DeLong. That's going to be, you came up with that idea. That's going to be a long day when I sign all those books and we get those to the post office to get them out. So support this show any way you can, through the GoFundMe, through the purchase of the book, by doing your part as the CQRF to stand against these subversive groups. Do whatever you can. Let's do it together. And let's get it going. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Sorry for the late start today. All this stuff seems to happen all at the same time. But we work through it. We work through it. Okay. Let's go to the truth zone, shall we? Let's do it. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. All right. So I got to get a new phone. I'm an Apple guy. I love Apple. Ever since I started Apple, I love the way all the stuff works together. What I don't like about Apple is how you literally can buy an Apple phone, and if you go over the 2-year mark with the phone, as good a quality as this phone is, you know, you would think that this phone would last a long time, right? I've never really dropped this phone. I've never bent it, never done any of that stuff. But somehow, right at the end of 2 years, the phone just starts to go bad. Kind of makes you wonder, do they send a program out to, you know, when you update your phone that kills the phone? I don't know. That's a conspiracy theory. But it is interesting. I don't think it's possible to make something where it lasts exactly 2 years like a phone. I may use my phone more than other people use their phone. Where am I going with this? I love this product, right? But the product is a business, and they can't make money by selling me a phone that lasts forever. So however they do it, they build in the 2 years for it to collapse, and then the phone starts to die. I got to go get a phone. I got to figure out if I want to get another 6 Plus, which I have now, or upgrade to the 8 Plus. I kind of like my headphone jack. I don't know. But the point is, whether it's an iPhone, or whether we're looking at Black Lives Matter, whether we're looking at any of these other communist subversive groups, whether it's the NFL and the fact that they don't want to cause a ruckus because they don't want to have people protest, or because a bunch of the NFL owners themselves are also communists, like the coach for the Seahawks. Whichever one it is, it's your job to figure that out. It's your job to realize, just like the phone, I knew at 2 years, based on Apple's history, that at 2 years, this phone will start to crash. No matter what I do, no matter how easy I take it on it, no matter how hard I use it, at the 2-year mark, it's going to start to crash. Well, it's the same thing with the NFL. Same thing with the Black Lives Matter. Same thing with the useless politicians like Mitch McConnell. You have to start realizing the reality of who it is. Whether it's racism and you think because you have dark skin that you've been racially profiled before, and that just no way that could ever happen to anyone else. Trust me, when I walked into that radio studio with the loudmouth Tamika Mallory and her racist lawyer friend, I was profiled. They don't know me. They don't know how good I treat people. They don't know what I've done for this country. And yet they instantly, because of the color of my skin, because I have a bald head, they called me a white supremacist. That is racism. You need to realize reality and what's actually happening in this country. And when you do it, your good intentions will be backed up by good research, and you'll understand the enemy and how they work. That's what we have to do. I'm Jonathan Gillum. My good buddy down there, Rico, he's asleep on the floor. We're going to go for a walk. I'll be here tomorrow. Remember, folks, remember, it's one team, one fight. Wherever you see this face, Jonathan Gillum, always remember the truth has arrived. This is The Experts. I'll see you tomorrow. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.